Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
I miss the door open and door close noise.
Yeah, me too, man. We haven't heard that since the quarantine started, have we?
I could just stand up and open the door and close it. You know, that's not...
It wouldn't be the same.
Oh my God, I'm so bored.
Tom, you said that like 165 times already.
It's actually 163 and a half. He started to say it once when he sneezed midway through, like 22 fucking times, and then forgot what he was saying. Remember?
Okay, I'm a multiple sneezer. It's a thing about me. Let it go. It's all right.
You're like a skipping record with allergies. Can I tell you that?
What, I wouldn't be so fucking sneezy if Noah would stop ripping up the goddamn carpet and smoking it. That can't even be good for you.
Look, if I'm stuck here in quarantine with you guys, I am not going to be stuck here sober. And I've smoked so much weed in here, this is basically a THC gingerbread house now. So.
Well, I would be drinking if Tom hadn't finished all the alcohol and hand sanitizer and oven cleaner and Rid-X.
Okay, you helped on the Rid-X. That was a fucking baller afternoon, though.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was. I'm still afraid of the cat.
Yeah, that cat's scary.
Yeah, I think now might be a perfect opportunity for us to sort of talk about the constructive criticism and feedback on jokes that we were talking about before.
Dude, I'm not high enough for this.
I don't take notes from normies.
Oh my God, not again. We're not. No.
I don't know. I'm with Cecil. I think this is a very important conversation.
Look, here's the thing, guys. I'm just saying shit tits is not constructive.
Puns can take a very long time to write.
Exactly. Heath is right. I'm not saying remove shit tits from our vocabulary. I'm just saying there needs to be a mechanism for when a pun is good.
But there are no good puns, so...
Blasphemy, I hate you.
Okay, hold on, Heath. I got this.
Okay. Fucking heretic.
Let's just use shit tits for groaners and show me your tits for the good ones.
Oh.
Eli, put your shirt down.
I do this every time you tell a pun, whether they're funny or not. They're just... never funny, but this is what I do now.
Okay.
This is my thing.
Okay, all in favor of shit tits, show me your tits convention. 1, 2.
2 votes.
2 votes.
Denied.
What?
Bullshit.
God,
Come
bullshit.
on. What?
Okay, wait. God, I don't want to have this fight again. Let's do something else. Hey, we could play board games again.
Oh, and lose to Heath at Trouble for the 233rd time?
What can I say? I have a knack with the Pop-O-Matic bubble. That's my thing.
If I have to fucking play Trouble again, I'm going to eat 2 of the fucking pieces. 2 of them.
Tom, you said that 6 games ago.
And 5 games ago, you ate 2 of the pieces. So
Did I?
Yeah.
How were they? Were they good? I bet they were good. They
Well,
looked
according
good.
to you, they were crunchy.
Yeah, that tracks. I figured they would be.
Besides, it doesn't matter, guys. It's Monday. We got to record a citation needed.
Oh, shit.
Right.
I guess it is Monday. Who's the essayist this week?
No idea. No idea whatsoever.
You sure it's Monday?
I'm not sure it's Monday.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if nobody wrote an essay, I'm thinking we just each go around and talk about our favorite short topic that's not long enough for a patron extra, and then we just put them together.
Right. We are all trapped in here during the stay-at-home order. It'll be like the Decameron.
Yeah, we have to tell our favorite Terminator story.
Oh, that's James Cameron.
What? Yeah, and it's always Terminator 2. That's a stupid idea.
It is always Terminator 2.
And they all have to be happy stories.
Yeah.
No tomming it up.
Okay, I don't love that turn of phrase. That isn't a turn of phrase. for start.
Or, hear me out, karaoke episode.
Yeah, let's do the other short story happy episode thing. I
Yeah,
like that
yes.
better.
Sounds good, man.
Okay.
I don't want to
Yep,
do
okay.
what he said.
Yeah.
My stomach really hurts. Like a lot.
Stop eating board game pieces and poison.
No, there's got to be a different solution to that.
Try some chloroquine. See if that works.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed Uplifting Edition, a podcast where this week we each choose a happy subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the year of the plague rat, and that's how it works now.
Jesus.
And we know it's the fleas on the rats. Don't be a nerd. I'm Heath, and I'll be hosting this contrived attempt at positivity. And joining me, we have an expert panel of life-affirming, cockeyed optimists. First up, three men who put the bear in beard, Cecil, Tom, and Eli.
Well, actually, I'm the mascot of the Chicago Beards. I dress up in a foam costume of Mike Pence's wife.
He runs screaming from that, too. You know, the gay community is the only community where there's like a friendly, sexy-sounding name for unkempt fat guy. I love that.
See, and I'm going for the I know where Curly's gold is look. So thank you for noticing, Heath. Thank you.
You're welcome. And also joining me, we have a man who puts the D in beard. Please welcome Noah.
Is that a joke about my beard having big boobs?
Your beard does have big boobs, though.
Thank you.
Dick. So again, we're changing up the format a little bit this week. Instead of a single topic, we've got a collection of 4 uplifting short stories to highlight our blessed world and blessed existence. Cecil,
Jesus
you're going to be
Christ.
up first. What's your happy story?
Okay, so we all know the story of Oscar Schindler.
Okay, super happy start. Good stuff. Keep going.
It's uplifting, at least.
Who had 0?
Of course.
I had 0 seconds.
Of course, he's the German businessman who saved thousands of lives during the Holocaust.
Eli is so glad he didn't bring up hot dogs right now.
But I want to talk about 2 other people who did something similar during that time. Both used paperwork to save a lot of lives. The first is a Japanese diplomat named Shiun Sugihara. I'm probably badly mispronouncing that. He was a vice consul for Japan in Lithuania at the time of the war.
Yeah, and the winner of the emptiest office is...
Right? So during the invasion of Poland by Germany, there were a lot of Jewish refugees fleeing the country. They fled east to Soviet-controlled Lithuania. Now, at this time, it was dangerous to be crossing borders of other nations without a visa. So when the refugees that came to Lithuania were looking to move on to another, hopefully more stable and safe place to live, they needed a visa to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, Lithuania's national motto is thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. The options for leaving Lithuania were limited. A lot of them opted for Soviet citizenship, but becoming a citizen of a country at war was not a great choice. So they instead looked at other countries that might be issuing visas. So in comes Sugihara. At this point, the Japanese government was only issuing visas to people who went through the immigration procedures and had enough money to actually immigrate. This was not true for most of these refugees.
You got to imagine some of these refugees, they like flee to Italy in 1937. 2 days later, Italy teams up with the Nazis. Just like, fuck, okay. All right. Japan feels like a good move next. 2 days later. Oh, come on.
But Sugihara wanted to help. So he called the home office several times. Each time he heard back the same thing. Unless they have a visa to get out of Japan after they're here, no exceptions. Sugihara knows these people can't stay in Lithuania because they're going to be invaded eventually. And he knows that the home office is going to be pissed at him if he breaks the rules. He does something that's pretty much the antithesis of what someone from Japan would do. You have to understand how strict Japanese culture is to realize the gravity of this. He disobeyed the order.
Yeah, and seppuku is fucking hard to do with a letter opener, so you know this dude meant it, right? Like, he really heart was in it.
From July of 1940 to August of 1940, he started issuing visas. He would give out 10-day visas at an astounding rate. He would put in 18 to 20-hour-long days just writing visas. He did about a month's work each day.
Wow.
A lot of the visas he granted were to heads of households, meaning that they would be able to save their entire family, too.
Yeah, he actually held the record for most visas issued in a 24-hour period right up until they started letting credit card companies advertise on college campuses.
One rumor, which is not substantiated, is that he handed off the consulate stamp to a refugee before he fled the country in September.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
His son denied the story later. Witnesses said that after the closure of the consulate on September 4th, he boarded the train leaving the country. From the train window, he threw blank copies of visas, stamped and signed with no name on them, to the crowd of refugees around the train. And he is quoted as saying, quote, "Please forgive me. I cannot write you anymore. I wish you the best," end quote.
Ugh, God, I fucking feel that. This is exactly how I hand out Christmas cards to my kids. Just en masse, unsigned, and in a fucking trail behind me as I flee for my life.
Also,
Jesus.
Again, Japan joined the Nazis at the end of September that year. Kind of a dick move at that point. Yeah. You know what he's going for, but still.
It is disputed how many people he saved, but the approximate number is about 6,000.
Wow.
The hilarious part is the Japanese government never brought it up. He said years later, quote, "No one ever said anything about it. I remember thinking they probably didn't realize how many I actually issued," end quote.
I get it. I feel the same way about my blog.
Sorry, your blog is like issuing visas to people fleeing the Nazis. That's what you're saying?
Thank you. Thank you, Heath.
Okay. So, Cecil, you said you had another person, a second story perhaps. Who's up next?
I do. Another World War II story. The other story is about a forger named Adolfo Kaminsky. He's a young boy of 16 when the Nazis invade France. A year after that invasion, his mother's killed by the Nazis. At that point, the 17-year-old decided to enter the French resistance movement. He spent much of that time telling the Allies about supply shipment locations and movement in France. Massive shipments at the time were done by railroad, so he's basically a train spotter.
Oddly enough, not the worst Danny Boyle flick to get stuck in. It's not even in the top 3, I don't think.
Train spotting seems like easy work. Like, trains are not subtle. Like, just standing by the track. Like, I expect one to catch the eye.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'll notice it.
In 1943, his family was brought to an internment camp in Drancy, France. They were scheduled to be deported to one of the extermination camps at the time and were saved in the 11th hour by the Argentinian consulate, who protested their imprisonment on diplomatic grounds, and were released to Paris in December of 1943.
How does that work exactly? Just like, "Hello, Mr. Himmler, it's Argentina calling. Have you heard of us? In Argentina. So, you know how countries have to grant wishes to other countries?"
Believe me, this will come in real handy for you at the end of the war.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish it wasn't my daughter's birthday. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to say yes, but now I have to say yes. Fuck.
He then started working at an underground lab in Paris, forging documents for Jews and other people that were being sought after by the Nazi regime. He meets this group while researching a false ID for his dad. The group of forgers were having a problem removing some blue ink stains from papers, and he suggested lactic acid. It worked, and he became part of the chemical forgery lab. I guess entry exams were a little easier back then. I don't know.
I feel like I know how this really went down. Oh no, I spilled my milk all over my documents.
It's working.
I mean, it's working. Yes, exactly. I meant to do this.
Okay, I just want to point out, based on that doodly-doo just now, Eli thinks lactic acid equals milk.
Yes.
Because it has lac in it. Well, to be fair, though, it would fuck up the skin if he had to, like, spill sourdough bread on his documents.
Thank you. Thank you, Noah.
He learns some printing processes and starts making forgeries that are printed just as well as real paperwork. They're referred to as real false documents.
Eat your heart out, Kellyanne Conway.
Started to produce so many that the lab he was working in was the main producer of these forgeries for the resistance. He was so dedicated to his work, he is quoted as saying, quote, "Keep awake the longer possible. Struggle against sleep. The calculation is easy. 1 hour, I make 30 false papers. If I sleep 1 hour, 30 people will die," end quote.
Wow.
Over the course of the war, he saved the lives of over 14,000 Jews.
Wow. Also killed thousands by sleeping. Just
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's that. So he's more than twice as heroic as the Japanese guy and an order of magnitude better than Oscar Schindler. Interesting.
I love that you have the yardstick out right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite part of this. In August of 1944, after the liberation of Paris, Kaminsky joined the French army and was one of the soldiers that marched to Germany. And his service helping Jews wasn't finished. He was quote, awarded the Médaille de Résistance and was engaged by the French military's secret services, who trusted him with making false IDs for spies sent behind the lines in order to investigate and detect the location of concentration camps before their dismantlement by the Nazis, end quote. And this is just one chapter in Kaminsky's life. He went on to quit the military at the beginning of the Indochina War, refusing to support colonialism. He worked with the National Liberation Front of Algeria and the French draft dodgers for the Algerian War and forged enough money to help destabilize the French economy.
Wow.
After a ceasefire was signed in 1962, he burnt the money in a huge bonfire saying, quote, "It never entered our heads to keep the notes. Money always leads to problems," end quote. He worked with other leftist organizations in Latin America and Africa. He worked with the Greeks against the far right in that country, and he also helped Americans dodge the draft for Vietnam. He always worked free of charge as long as he agreed with the ideals of the group and the cause they were fighting for.
Wow. Nice. Oh, my turn. It's my turn now. My turn.
Is your story true, Eli?
Shh, are you kidding? It's so true that even Wikipedia was afraid to cover it.
No,
Nope,
we're not doing it.
absolutely
That
not.
means it's
That's
not
skip.
true.
That's a big skip.
Fine.
All right. I'll go next. Somebody asked me, who is Private Wojtek of the Polish Army?
No, I won't do that.
Just tell your story.
gonna
You look like a Nazi.
So Wojtek,
he's still going.
Private
Why is he still
Wojtek
going?
was a Syrian brown bear purchased in Iran by a unit from the Polish Army in 1942 because somebody wanted a pet bear, which sounded like an amazing idea to me when I read about that. So I immediately Googled how to get a pet bear. But it turns out the answer from Google is do not do that. Just about every article I found said something like, yeah, you're technically allowed to do that in lots of places, but you'll probably end up in a crazy blood feud with some lady who murdered her husband. You'll end up in jail. Bad idea. Also, the bear's going to murder you.
Yeah.
It might ride your weird penny farthing bicycle for 20 years. But then out of nowhere, you're going to chew with your mouth open one day. It's going to eat your fucking face. Don't do that.
Okay, to be fair, I've never met someone with a pet bear or tiger whose face would be like a great loss to society. So
That's true, man.
maybe this is just
Hard
the kind
agree.
of thing that works itself out in payroll.
Hard agree. Yeah.
Makes for a great magic show, too. But yeah, bottom line, don't try to tame a bear.
Okay, not fair. They show up to the club wearing a harness and a leash. That is a mixed message. That's not fair to me.
So bottom line, don't try to tame a bear. But the Polish army didn't have expert sources like Quora and 4chan the way I do. So they bought one and they quickly realized this was not the best idea. Turns out an average bear eats about 20,000 calories a day and sometimes up to 60,000. And if you're giving them less than, whatever the fuck they want, it does not go well. But apparently Wojtek was part of the Polish army for almost 3 years.
The Polish caretaker is told he can only have one thing that eats 60,000 calories a day, so he tearfully releases a young Chris Christie into the wild.
Go on, get out of here, old yeller Chris Christie.
I don't love you anymore, Chris Christie. I don't love you anymore.
Take your transition team with you.
Chris Christie gets shot at the end of that story. Right in the face.
That sounds great.
Thank
I love
goodness.
that story. Let's tell that
That's a
story.
happy
Can we tell
story.
that story?
Old yeller. Let's switch it over. Yeah, no. So the origin story of Wojtek's military career began in the spring of 1942 when a Polish unit was traveling through Iran along with thousands of civilians who had been relocated during the war. In the city of Hamadan, they ran into a local kid who found a bear cub whose mother had been killed by hunters. And that's when one of the civilians, an 18-year-old girl named Irena, decided she really liked the bear. So she asked one of the officers to buy it for her. And he agreed because Irena had a really cool personality. So
I'm sure, yeah.
Wojtek spent the next 3 months living with Irena at a refugee camp near Tehran, eating 20,000 calories a day on average at, again, a refugee camp in Iran.
All right, guys, this is so bad. I'm so American that I had to Google Iranian bear, and I expected to learn about some kind of desert bear. Turns out they have forests, too, in Iran.
I mean, I feel like that made for some awkward conversations at the refugee camp, right?
Okay, everyone, the morning refugee camp announcements.
Stop it, Wojtek. Stop it. I'm trying to listen.
Right. So food is running pretty low. Has been for the last couple of weeks. Wondering if anybody has any suggestions as to how we might deal with this.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Look,
Hey, Irina, do you have any ideas how we might deal with the food problem in the camp?
Quiet, Wojtek. I'm thinking.
Seriously?
Maybe something to do with Wojtek.
Oh, I got it. I got an idea.
Great.
time. Yes.
So Wojtek and I will hunt for berries. That'll bring in some food, right?
I hate you. I just want to say, sad bear noise is the funniest thing you've ever written. Sad bear noise.
All right. So eventually it became obvious how stupid it was to have a pet bear while being a refugee. And Irena donated him to the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. And that's when they named him Wojtek, which is the nickname version of Wojciech's. And it means happy warrior, apparently. So some guy in this company showed up at camp with a bear, and everyone just started guessing about what Wojtek should eat and drink. And they landed on condensed milk from an old vodka bottle.
Old vodka bottle, yeah.
Fruit, marmalade, honey, and syrup. And as a reward for good behavior.
Be so hyper.
Yeah, it's a good deal of sugar there. I don't know. You want a hyper bear? You want to relax? It's not clear.
Is it a hummingbird bear? What the fuck?
Okay, well, that's the most adorable thing I've ever heard of. Just a bear hovering right in front of you for a second, flies away.
Lands on your hand and crushes you.
Just hold out your wrist like a falconer. Blam! Oh, okay.
That's on me.
I thought that was going to be
Man,
easier.
didn't think that one through.
The wings stay the same size, though, obviously.
But yeah, they're giving him condensed milk, maybe with vodka. Maybe it was like powdered milk mixed with the vodka. It's not clear. A whole bunch of sugar stuff. Also, as a reward for good behavior, they gave him beer, which became Wojtek's favorite drink.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the thing that makes a bear so dangerous is the sobriety. No, I get
it. Jesus, they barely managed to solve that problem.
Oh. So Wojtek was apparently smarter than the average bear, and he quickly started learning to be useful. When it was cold, he'd sleep with the soldiers at night and be the big spoon, warm them up.
Okay, to be clear, that wasn't always welcome, but sometimes you just have to grin and bear it.
Absolutely not.
So you have to
Absolutely not.
Show me your tits, Tom. When they had free time,
it is a convention.
Wojtek would wrestle with the soldiers for fun. And he even learned to salute when greeted by an officer. And this is my favorite part. Apparently, Wojtek would mimic everything he saw, and that included marching on his hind legs to look like a human.
That's amazing.
It's fucking adorable. And also, he would mimic stuff. He started smoking cigarettes.
Nice.
And what? And eating them is what I read also.
Was that mimicking? He was mimicking then?
You lied to me. This doesn't taste anything like a guy named Winston.
So over the next year and a half, Wojtek traveled along with the soldiers and became fucking enormous, like bears often do. Yeah, he was 200 pounds by the end of 1943 and eventually grew to almost 500 pounds. So that brings us to January of 1944, when Wojtek got his first taste of live combat in World War II. That winter, his unit got assigned to fight alongside British forces in Italy. But when the British transport ship arrived to pick him up, the British officer in charge of it was like, no, absolutely not. What? You're all stupid. I can't believe I have to say this, but no, That's not happening. I'm making a rule right now. No giant bear mascots. I can't believe I have to say this, but that's the rule. And that's when Wojtek got officially enlisted as a private into the Polish army to get around the rule as a technicality.
And then the Polish army is throwing mascot paperwork out the train window to all the refugee bears outside. Like, I'm sorry, I couldn't have done more.
All right, so Wojtek's enlisted. He's got his own pay book, his own rank, his own serial number. A British Navy captain is fucking furious, but, had to respect the awesome technicality. And they took him on the ship. Wojtek's on the boat going to Italy.
Wait. So the guy was just like, rules are rules. I mean, otherwise I'd have to explain that they fucking pretended their bear was a guy.
So they fucking air-butted the goddamn Allied army.
They did. I did. Absolutely correct.
Amazing.
I love this so much.
So they arrived in Italy, and the company started fighting in the Battle of Monte Cassino. And this is when Private Wojtek the Bear became a war hero. During the battle, he watched his fellow soldiers carrying ammo and started doing the same thing. He started mimicking that. According to this company, the men were teaming up 4 at a time to carry these really big crates of artillery shells. And Wojtek was like, all right, cool. Everybody get the fuck out of the way with your little baby arms. I got this. And he started picking up these crates of explosive shells all by himself, the ones that it took 4 guys to carry. He's got them all by himself, and he's carrying them onto transport vehicles, allegedly without ever dropping a single shell or crate.
Admittedly, that's pretty badass. All the Second Amendment people are like, see, that's why we need a right to bear arms right there.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Cecil, show me your tits so much. Smash your I'm going to motorboat you right now, Cecil.
The
That's
Battle of
fantastic.
Monte Cassino was a real fucking gamble, I'll tell you that.
Oh, so,
Yes,
side note.
fucking take it, Eli.
Eli's loving
Fucking
it.
take
Eli,
that
this
shit.
is what's going to happen to you once your kid's born, right? Once you're a dad, that's what happens.
I'm going to canoe your tits, Tom. That was not bad. So, side note, nothing about Wojtek was mentioned in the Wikipedia article for the Battle of Monte Cassino, because bigotry. Anyway, following the battle, which was a victory for the Allies, Wojtek was promoted from private to corporal for his heroism.
Yeah, but I mean, he barely noticed the promotion. So.
And in recognition of his heroic service, 22nd Artillery Company adopted a depiction of a bear carrying a giant artillery shell as their official emblem on their flag. He's also been honored with statues all over Europe and several mentions in popular culture. This includes an Easter egg in the video game Hearts of Iron 4 that you can earn by playing as Poland. Apparently, it's a World War II game. You earn it by playing as Poland, having troops fighting in Italy, controlling the Iranian province of Hamadan, and remaining non-aligned is what I read. And that last part feels super problematic. It's a game about World War II. I want you to be aligned. I want it to be clear, the alignment there. Regardless, that Easter egg achievement is called Bearer of Artillery. Bearer.
Amazing.
Just want to throw this out there. Weird place for a pun in your World War II
No such
game.
thing.
Well, there you go.
No such thing.
I'm picturing the starry-eyed Polish recruit asking some senior officer about the emblem, does that bear represent the way our nation emerged from hibernation to defeat our enemies? Does the crate represent the great historical burden that is our nation's tragic story? He's like, no, bear carry box once.
He eat
I love their
mostly honey.
official emblem is something that happened a single time that they were proud of.
You know what? We're going to switch to bear eating cigarette on our flag. What about that? That's weird. That's weird. All right. So after the war ended, the company was stationed in Scotland, where Wojtek quickly became a local icon. Then in 1947, he was given to the Edinburgh Zoo. And during the years following the war, Polish soldiers would visit him and toss him cigarettes to eat in his area.
It's a Polish thing. You wouldn't understand.
So Wojtek spent the rest of his life at the zoo, happily eating tobacco, apparently, and eventually passing away in 1963 at the age of 21. A hero who helped kill Nazis. Italy was on the Nazi team, by the way. It just feels like we don't repeat that enough. Italy, Nazi team also. Japan, too. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break for some apropos of nothing.
Welcome back to CNN. As we'll never let you forget, the COVID crisis is gripping the nation. But the First Lady is doing something about it. Her new initiative to stop the bullying of people who suffer from coronavirus is kicking off this week. Welcome via Zoom, First Lady Melania Trump. I wanted to start...
Thank you for having me, Breg.
Well, we are very glad to have you anytime. So I wanted to start
It's
tonight to
always
talk...
a pleasure to be here.
We are so happy you could take the time out of your day, First Lady. The initiative is to help
We are busy, but never too busy to talk to you.
And we love having you on anytime, Madam First Lady. Our country is in the
I'm
grip...
so happy our schedule is linked up.
Me too. It looks like our producer is telling me it's time up. Thanks so much for joining us today, First Lady.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, billionaires are sad you're taking 1% of the stimulus money. How can you help keep them afloat during this trying time? Stick around. Look on the bottom. The ticker will tell you how many people died.
And we're back.
Oh, my turn.
Is your topic something real, Eli?
Yes.
Like real, or like Eli real?
Real.
And is it happy or are you going to tom it up?
Okay, you too, Cecil.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just really catchy. Tom it up. Tom it up.
It's kind of happy.
Tom it up.
I'm sorry, what do you mean, kinda?
I mean,
Yeah,
how do you
good
feel
question.
about Charlize Theron's dad?
No,
That's tomming it up.
Okay.
Swipe left.
I'll go. I'll show you. I can tell a story where no human dies in this story.
No human dies. That's
Yeah.
it's a weird distinction. Why are you making that distinction? I just feel
Don't
like
worry
you said
about the
it weird,
distinction.
and that's a
Don't-
strange
just
thing to
relax.
say.
That's not even something. This is going to be fun. I promise it's going to be fun.
Well, doubtful, but fine. Go.
Okay. So it all started during a little something called World War I.
God damn it! What did we just say?
Come on. I explained the rules twice.
I don't listen either time. Hear me out, okay? You guys are going to like this. So the year, it was 1917, and the 102nd Infantry were training on the campus of Yale University, getting ready to ship out to the European meat grinder.
Okay, Tom, you're cut off. You're just cut
Yep.
off. This isn't
No.
heard
Okay,
yet.
wait.
That's
But
the-
the best part. The best part is coming up because meat grinder to the side. Okay. So the men are training and getting ready to ship when a dog wanders onto the grounds. The dog is described as being of uncertain breed, but owing at least some of his parentage to the evolving family of bull terriers. It looks in the pictures very much like a stubby, short little pit bull. And he was quickly taken up by one of the soldiers, a guy
good boy.
who, right? And I promise, this guy does not die. But instead, he smuggles this little bulldoggy thing aboard the ship by hiding the dog in his overcoat. So when the dog is eventually discovered by the soldier's commanding officer, the dog, now named Stubby, saluted the officer as the soldiers had trained him to do, and then the officer allowed the dog to stay on board.
Okay. Is there something about once an animal gets on a boat, it's safe in the rules? Is that a thing? What's happening?
Well, to be clear here, though,
That's
like,
basic maritime law,
I mean,
Eli.
they're in the middle of the goddamn ocean, right? Like, I mean, the alternative to letting him stay on board isn't like sending him off with his own little dinghy.
Yeah, that would have been adorable. It would. They give him a little dog paddle. It would have been super cute.
All right, so Stubby the dog served with his troops in France in the trenches for 8 months. He entered combat on February 5th, 1918, and he was pinned down alongside his buddies under constant fire for over a month.
Yeah, this is uplifting, Tom.
Okay. All right. That's a word. I'm going to look that up. In April of that year, taking part in a raid, Stubby was wounded by a grenade tossed by a retreating German soldier who probably ran away because he's being chased down by a goddamn pit bull.
He comes back with the grenade. Stubby, do not fetch. Bad dog. Bad dog. Drop it.
So after he got injured, Stubby was sent to the rear to convalesce. And while he was recovering, he dramatically improved the morale of his wounded comrades just by being a goddamn dog, which is awesome. That's just great.
It's fantastic. Just a bunch of wounded soldiers wearing big cones on their head in solidarity. Hey, you know what? This actually helps. I was scratching.
Be like Stubby. So after returning to the front lines,
What demonic fuck sent the dog back to the front lines?
Thank you, Noah.
Okay, all right, uplifting. So Stubby was wounded in a mustard gas attack.
Come on. Tom,
But
you
this is
just
great.
said uplifting half a sentence ago.
Okay, hold on. So the troops fitted him with his own little doggy gas mask. And
that's what we're gonna
do. That's cute.
I know that is dystopian as shit. I do. But these pictures are still kind of fucking amazing. He's like a steampunk puppy Stubby. It's fucking great. And Stubby just figured out that mustard gas really sucks, right? So he became a canine early warning system for incoming gas attacks. He alerted his comrades in arms by running along the trenches, biting their feet and barking. And it was after his first such early morning gas attack alert that Stubby was awarded his first official military rank. On April 5th, 1918, Stubby became Private First Class Stubby.
Okay, hear me out. Maybe he was just fighting them for bringing him back into the war after his second fucking injury? We may never know. We may never know.
Stubby was a better sport than that, I think. Stubby was uniquely capable of locating injured troops in the chaos of no man's land. No man's land was that hellish space between trenches where wounded soldiers often languished for lack of help. Stubby found them amidst the carnage, and he either dragged them back to safety or he barked his fucking head off until help came. And he only did this for troops on his side. He could tell the difference between uniforms, and he never tried to help the enemy because dogs are fucking loyal and not a bunch of shitty traitors. That's why.
Well, I mean, that didn't stop us from opening those German Shepherd internment camps. But yes, they were loyal. They were not a good dog.
All right, and perhaps Stubby's greatest military accomplishment came when Stubby literally sniffed out a German spy who was hiding in some foliage. What? Stubby scented this guy and clamped down on him, literally dragged. He drags this fucking German guy out from hiding and pinned him down until the German was captured. Then, for finding and subduing a German spy, Private First Class Stubby was nominated for promotion and became Sergeant Stubby.
What?
The dog outranked other soldiers.
German spies just in the bushes. What's this? Dog in mask? That's normal. That's normal. Who's a good boy?
Who's the asshole who's got to salute to the dog, too, right? You kind of walk by and be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So after the town of Chateau Thierry was retaken, the women of the town were so enamored of brave little Sergeant Stubby that they made him a chamois coat. A German Iron Cross, which was taken from the captured spy, as well as 2 wounded stripes, and then a bunch of other medals and honors and shit that he earned, were pinned to his coat. There are pictures of this fucking coat that he wore. It is goddamned adorable. When the war ended, the same soldier who had smuggled Stubby to France once more smuggled him home again in his overcoat, whereupon Sergeant Stubby soon became a hero. Across the country, Sergeant Stubby not only marched in, but fucking led parades. He was the leader in city after city. Sergeant Stubby met and shook paws with Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, and Warren G. Harding.
He starts growling at Obama. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. That is just you took way too long to split. That's why I was growling.
what it is.
So later, Sergeant Stubby had a career in show business. He performed on vaudeville stages, and he earned more for a single performance than many men at the time earned in a week's wages. He was awarded lifetime memberships to the American Legion and the YMCA. That's obviously a fun place to stay, even if you're a dog. So
Yeah, nothing more uplifting, Tom, than to a bunch of newly unemployed people, like stories of an abused dog making more money than them. Hey guys, we're not. If you don't account for inflation, you're way out earning them. Just like,
okay,
Jesus Christ.
All right, we're reading into it by reading it. In 1921, Sergeant Stubby was presented a gold medal from the Humane Education Society, and then he attended Georgetown University Law Center. Granted, it was with his owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not as good.
Once there, Stubby became the Georgetown Hoyas team mascot.
Amazing.
At halftime.
Oh, he's the bassist for the Hoya?
That's
the Bulldog?
The Bulldog is Sergeant Stubby.
Oh.
Yeah. At halftime at Georgetown games, Sergeant Stubby would be given the football to play with for the amusement of the crowd. And this may have actually been the genesis for the modern halftime show. Possibly also the Puppy Bowl.
Right.
So Sergeant Stubby, decorated war hero, attendee of Georgetown University, leader of parades and mustard gas alarm clock, having shaken paws with 3 presidents, died peacefully in his sleep in 1926. When he died, the New York Times ran a half-page obituary for Sergeant Stubby.
Shit.
It is significantly greater length than the obit for many notable men and damn near every other soldier. Sergeant Stubby now resides preserved on actual display at the Smithsonian.
I'm getting a selfie with Stubby.
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
Okay, can I go now?
Yeah, why not? Episode's almost over anyway.
Yeah, that's true. We're pretty much done.
Okay,
We
so
can cut this if we
I
have
want
to.
to admit
Yeah, plenty of time.
up front that my happy story takes place during probably one of the least happy times in history. The siege.
Now? Is it now?
It's not now. It's a little bit worse than now. It's the siege of Leningrad.
Whoa.
Now, the siege of
What
Leningrad
is happening?
definitely
We're all doing this wrong.
We are.
we all
pick
worse stories.
Now-
We are fucked.
It's the only time humans are good enough to be worthy. So the siege of Leningrad definitely deserves its own essay. The whole thing is a story of human resilience on a scale that's truly mind-boggling.
Well,
but the
there's
author,
also a lot of stories of not human resilience, right? Like just dead.
Also,
yeah.
as the author John Green, from whom I heard this story, puts it in perspective, quote, if you add together all the American deaths from all the wars in the history of the United States, that's about 1.4 million Americans that have died from war. More than 1.6 million Soviet citizens died in a single city in World War II during the 872-day siege of Leningrad.
I'd say it's time for America to up its fucking game. Exactly.
I mean, Eli, not for nothing, but like, at least 1.6 million of them weren't all that fucking resilient after.
It's great for the fucking economy. Yeah.
Oh, shit. But luckily, this story isn't about the siege of Leningrad. It's about the Lenin All-Union Academy of Agricultural Sciences and the Institute of Plant Industry. At the time, the world's largest seed bank, which at the time of the siege contained over 250,000 samples of everything from wheat to rice to wild berries to potatoes.
Okay. Well, normally during a siege, you can't yell out the wall at your enemy, we got seeds in here, motherfuckers, we're fine. But that siege was actually long enough for those to be useful, right?
We'll get to that. So first, a quick word on seed banks. If you're not a farmer or an agriculturist, you probably never heard of a seed bank unless you were like strapped for cash and looking for free porn. But seed banks are actually vital to the agricultural progression of human beings.
Seed banks are different in prosperity gospel. You give your church leader a bank, and then hope a fairy tale will give you a bunch of banks at a later date. It's a weird exchange.
Wait, Eli, I love that very Trumpian, I've never heard of this, so nobody else knew about it until just now, too, intro. That's very good. Well done.
Excuse me, Mr. Seed Bank aficionado. So seed banks are actually really cool. They're like mad scientists for food. They collect various plants from all around the world, and they make like stronger, tastier, and sometimes even bug-proof versions of the stuff that we eat. In fact, pretty much every fruit, vegetable, or grain you have ever eaten came from the tireless work of seed banks.
And then we put the word frankenfood into the dictionary because fuck all that tireless work, right?
Right.
That's true. So, like I said, Leningrad had the largest seed bank in the world at the time of the siege. And as the bomb started to fall, scientists literally grabbed what they could and brought it inside to keep it safe.
Well, no, wait, the word bank implies that this stuff is inside, does it not? Otherwise, they just had seeds.
Loose piles of seeds.
It's just having seeds.
Most people in the city of Leningrad didn't die from bombs or bullets. They starved. Between starvation and disease from 1941 to 1942, 100,000 people in the city died a month.
Jesus.
Again, according
Uplifting.
to John Green, I love this quote. One woman was so thin she was mistakenly stacked with corpses until her husband insisted she was breathing. Their son Victor had already died of diphtheria during the siege, but the couple both survived and went on to have another son in 1952 named Vladimir Putin.
The idea that Putin is the product of 4 out of 4 horsemen of the apocalypse connects a lot of dots for me, man. Connects a lot of dots.
He does have a real replacement kid feel to him, doesn't he? Kind of all around.
Talking to if you're listening, Vlad, and I know you are, they're the ones saying mean things about you. I am a fan because you're going to win because of the thing with your mom. Anyways,
he's so good at hockey too.
Yep, he's good at whatever he wants to be good at. Anyways, through all this suffering, the scientists in charge of caring for boxes and bags of potatoes, rice, and berries didn't eat them. They protected their charges instead of, chowing down on them, keeping them safe from rats and the cold. They babysat more food than they'd eaten for more than a year without breaking.
Well, one guy's got a chia pet with giant potatoes coming out of it. He's like, no, I already had this.
Again, another quote from John Green, quote, when asked about it years later, one of the workers, Vadim Lenenovich, was asked if it was hard keeping from eating the rice and wheat and potatoes all around him. He replied, it was hard to walk. It was unbearably hard to get up every morning, to move your hands and feet, but it was not in the least difficult to refrain from eating up the collection. What was involved was the cause of your life, the cause of your comrades' lives.
Jesus, these people were food eunuchs guarding a harem. That's ridiculous.
No shit, like, if my wife bakes a birthday cake, I have to leave the house until I hear the first bars of happy birthday clearly audible, or I'm going to eat that fucking cake. I'd have eaten all that goddamn granola in the seed bank my first hour of training.
So in total, 28 of the Institute's scientists literally starved to death, surrounded by food that would have kept them alive. The Institute of Plant Industry still survives today, and it is still the largest seed bank in the world and has been able to prevent countless famine and starvation thanks to the sacrifice of a few very brave people.
Couldn't they have just gotten replacement potatoes after the war, though? I don't understand why they couldn't just eat the potatoes and then did nobody think of that? Oh.
Doesn't planting stuff lead to more seeds?
I thought that.
I mean, it seems like they had at least 28 scientists worth of a meat bank at some point. Just no reason to starve.
Wasn't a lot of meat on them at that point, though.
All right. Well, Eli, if you had to name, any single thing you've learned today during this entire episode, what would you say?
Once the animal is on the boat, you have to let him stay in the army.
Apparently,
He's in the army.
that's actually true. It
Yeah.
says that a bear can't play in the army.
It's the rule.
It's a true thing. No takesies, backsies.
All right. And Noah, are you ready for a quiz from the panel about each of our stories?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
All right. I'm going to go first. Which of the following was Private Wojtek's favorite theme song? Was it A, 7 Hibernation Army? B, Kodiak Yellow? C, Tupelo Honey? That's just an awesome song by Van Morrison. Or D, or signed, sealed, delivered on yours?
All right, that one.
Show me your tits, Heath. Show me your tits, buddy.
Yeah,
Always.
I'm going to have to go with secret answer E. The answer is D. Show me your tits.
That is incorrect, but I was doing it. It's a complicated formula, but incorrect.
I'm pretty sure it's correct. I'm pretty sure
All right, Sergeant Stubby is an adorable nickname. A, only if you're a dog. B, seems to mock a lot of war vets, actually. C, is funny anyway.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to go with the secret answer D. My wife calls me that because she likes that dog story. She's very impressed with the dog story.
Unfortunately, D.
Yeah.
And it's a lowercase D.
All right, Noah. Which of us would be the first to eat the seed bank? A, Keith, before the siege began, because nobody explained that we weren't allowed to eat the seeds. B, Tom, during the siege, because he didn't know rice counted as seeds, and you guys should have been way more clear.
Sure.
C, me, because it's the only vegan food available. Or D, you for spite.
I'm going to go with D, me for spite. We can get more potatoes after the war. We can't. You know what? If we starve to death, we can't get more potatoes, but we can if we don't.
That is correct. You for spite.
All right, Noah. What's the best name for a movie about people fleeing Germany by train? A, Yellow Starjeeling Limited. B, Seder on the Orient Express. C, Thomas the Tanakh Engine. Or D, 310 to Juma.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm starting to feel like the entire purpose of this episode was so that you could say B, Seder on the Orient Express. So I'm going to go with B.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is 310 to Juma. I'm sorry.
So close.
Cecil, well done, though. You stumped him. You're the
My
winner.
letter rhymed with the correct one.
Oh, amazing. Well, why don't we choose Tom for next
No,
week?
what? You said my name.
Tom it is.
All right. Well, for Tom, Noah, Cecil, and Eli, I'm Heath. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Tom will be an expert on something else or talk about something else. Between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil on Cognitive Dissonance, and you can hear Eli, Noah, and myself on God Awful Movies, The Scathing Atheist, D&D Minus, and The Skeptocrat. And if you want to help us out, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, listen to past episodes, connect with us on social media, or take a look at the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Anyway, Mrs. Trump,
Thank you, Jeff.
I think we can
Thank
just-
you.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.